Hi everyone and welcome back to a new video. This feels really weird to be in front of the camera right now filming a video for you guys because it feels like so long, but I have really missed it and I really wanted to get back into it, but I've literally been so busy with other pieces of work that I've been doing. So yeah, I'm finally back now and I'll try and push videos out each week, especially now during this time. We've got quite a lot more free time and no excuses to be leaving the house and kind of no real excuses to not be putting out videos for you guys because I've not really got too much else to do. I mean, I am working full time and I am fortunate enough to be able to still be working full time during this. The other work that I've been doing, it comes with an app called TikTok, which some of you may already know. And basically, this app is something that I'm quite big on and I get asked to create quite a lot of videos and things and new challenges and stuff. So I've had to kind of put a lot of effort into that. And through this, I've been invited down to events like in London, meeting a load of new people and meeting new friends and everything and opening so many opportunities for me. But just so you know, in the background of all of this, I have been working on a few cases and kind of like inputting new information into these cases that I've been researching. So I haven't fully left it and I didn't fully leave it. I was kind of just working on things. So actually going back to TikTok, I was browsing through the For You page and a video came up and it was about this case that I'm going to cover, but it was literally just about a 15-second clip going over a little bit of the details on it. And I'd heard about it before, but I wasn't entirely sure what was going on. So I decided to do some research and thought that'd be a perfect video to get back into this whole YouTube with something that I've dedicated my kind of past few months of my life to, or year I'd say over a year, dedicated my life to this app. So a lot of you may already know about the case, but this is something that I've heard of, but I've never actually known about, and a lot of people have their own theories about what's happened, and there is a load of different ones online. I might touch on what some people have said, like during the case, and like at the end I'll put links in the descriptions as well for different theories that people have come up with. And this video is literally just done to educate you guys and basically update you on the case, and it's not to offend anyone at all. So let's get into today's very first return back video. Lars Mittank was a 28-year-old worker at the Wilmshelm Haven, I think that's pronounced like that, power station in a small coastal town in Lower Saxony, which was located in northwest Germany. During his return home, Lars Mittank was in a seemingly paranoid state in the airport, which I'll show in a CCTV clip here. This CCTV clip was retrieved from that exact day, the day that he went missing. And as you can see from that CCTV clip, he did look quite paranoid and kind of like, I don't know, rushed and trying to get away from something. And he just completely disappeared without a trace from the Varna airport in Bulgaria. Mittank was on vacation with 4 friends at the Golden Sands, a seaside resort on the coast of the Black Sea in Bulgaria. This is a very popular and relatively low-cost holiday destination for younger people and people who want to go for like party and entertainment would decide to go to. The group arrived at their destination on the 30th of June in 2014 after a 2-hour plane ride and checked into their hotel, Hotel Viva Club. On July 6th, the trip was actually disturbed by an altercation between the group of German tourists and a group of locals when they had some sort of dispute over the football in the local bar named the Rock Bar. And this is a key part of the case because this is kind of where everything stems from. Although there was no violence going on at the time in the bar, Lars actually went missing on that night when he was waiting for his friends to purchase food from McDonald's, and this was nearby the hotel that they were staying at. Now, this first instance of Lars going missing doesn't actually link to the airport. This is just the first instance where things started to get a little bit weird. The group then obviously looked for him around the surrounding areas, but no avail. And they eventually decided to go back to the hotel, presuming that he was going to be there and already waiting for them, because obviously they were all drinking and things, and he might have just wandered off thinking, I'm tired, I'm going to go back. But like I say, they didn't see him at the hotel. However, the next morning he did return, but in kind of a shocked state. Like, he returned saying that a gang had been sent to find him and actually approached him in like an aggressive way, and this group was believed to have been sent by the people who they had the altercation with in the bar. He claims that the group of people in the bar had either hired some locals or some Russians to come and rough him up. Apparently, however, Lars's friend group didn't actually believe this story. They just thought he was kind of making everything up, and they kind of passed it off as being like, I'm not convinced. They weren't convinced, but they let it go anyway. And from this altercation that they'd had, he walked away with a ruptured eardrum and an injured jaw. And this ruptured eardrum is also another key part in the story as well. So the weird question is, where exactly was Lars Mittank between the McDonald's trip to the morning? What actually happened during this time? And like, was he actually unconscious, as he claims, from the fight that they'd had, or the altercation that they'd had? Like, what happened to him? How did he get these injuries, and who did it to him? Now, after doing a little bit of research into the ruptured burst eardrum, I found that you can actually safely fly home with that sort of injury, depending on how serious it is. But however, if you have had surgery, so you can fly home. If you've not had your surgery, it's okay at all. But if you have had surgery, then the doctor advises you to leave it a few days, or for whenever the doctor says that it's safe for you to go home. And he'd not had any surgery as far as we were aware. Again, some conflict has been stated between the fact that he was actually good to fly home, and he could have gone home due to the injury, but he didn't want to, which meant he didn't actually return home on the same day that his friends did. He went to go alone. But Mittank insisted that he would stay, and he wanted to stay at this other hotel that he found until he felt better enough to be able to fly home. On the 7th of July 2014, the group of friends, excluding Lars Mittank, all set off in a taxi to go to the airport. After leaving his friends, Lars Mittank decided he was going to go search medical attention. After seeking attention, the doctor advised that he should have surgery to repair this ruptured eardrum. But he insisted that he didn't want the surgery, as he didn't obviously want the surgery outside of Germany. But the doctor insisted that if he wasn't having the surgery, then he had to go and pick up some antibiotics. And these antibiotics were prescribed, like 500 milligrams of these antibiotics. I can't really pronounce the name, so I'm going to just kind of write it here. And these are commonly used to treat bacterial infections, so like the general antibiotics for over here, like if you're in the UK, that's what we get prescribed. The antibiotics were prescribed by Dr. Boris Najeno. I think that's how, I've literally no idea if I pronounced that right. And Mittank bought this from a local pharmacy that was literally just within walking distance of the doctor's surgery that he went to. And then, once he'd collected them, he went walking around the area to find a new hotel that he could potentially be staying at for however long. He decided on the hotel colour in Varna, and this was like $25 a night. So it was relatively cheap, and cheap enough for Mittank to stay at whilst he waited for his flight back home. The following day, Mittank started to act really strange and like really weird, and at 10 minutes before midnight he decided to phone his mum. And in this phone call he said that he felt scared. He asked if she would be able to contact the bank and freeze his credit card. Then again he called her at 3 AM in a low whisper that he was hiding from a group of men that had been following him. And that same night, Mittank had actually gathered all his stuff and left the hotel that he was staying at. The hotel staff had said that they saw him leaving like in literally the middle of the night with all his things. He then texted his mum asking what CFC 500 meant, and CFC 500 were the antibiotics that he had been prescribed by the doctors to treat his injury. And these were most likely prescribed to him to like prevent any sort of ear infection that could have been caused by the ruptured eardrum. On that same day, Lars Mittank was actually dropped off by a taxi at the airport. He apparently shared it with another passenger who he waved down the street to like stop to pick him up. They described him as having mydriasis. So I found that mydriasis, I think that's how you pronounce it, is dilation of the pupils, and this can be caused by disease, trauma, or the use of drugs, and obviously due to the blow in his ear, this could have caused the dilation of his pupils. And as I mentioned then, although people's like instinct is to think that they're on drugs, and that is what has caused his pupils to dilate. But usually if it is to do with trauma, which he did have in his ear, it has to be quite severe trauma in order to actually cause the pupils to dilate like to a certain size. Going back to seeking medical attention, and when he visited the doctors, Dr. Boris Najeno, I think, suggested that he did need surgery, but for the doctor to just kind of let him go without actually having it, it mustn't have been too much of a serious rupture. Yeah, it's still quite weird because the drugs would be the main cause for his pupils to dilate so much, and the trauma could have had an impact on it. But like I say, it has to be a serious trauma, and if the doctor's kind of letting him go away without having any surgery on his ear, then it can't have been too serious for the doctor to just kind of let him go. However, there is obviously surgeries that deal with low risk repairs to the ruptured eardrum, and it can kind of heal on its own in a way, which is probably, well, understandably what has happened to Lars Mittank in this instance. Like, he's kind of been told it's not too serious, but you can have surgery if you want, and he's obviously opted to not and just have his antibiotics to help it. And this surgery would have allowed Mittank to return back home within a few days, and this was maybe suggested to him to help him leave a lot sooner than what he would have if he didn't have the surgery and kind of just waited for it to heal on its own. Once he arrived at the airport, he calls his mother again to ask her to actually book him a ticket and return flight home. And she actually advised him to go to the airport doctors just to kind of see, just to kind of clear it and just be like, yeah, you're okay to travel home. Although during this time he did say that he felt like the group of men, like these 4 individuals that had been following him around, that had been set on him by this group in the bar originally, there wasn't actually apparently letting him go home by like plane or bus from Bulgaria, and it was like there was kind of trapping him, but there was no evidence or anything to show that 4 men or whoever was following him anywhere. Like, who were these 4 men? Did they actually exist? Or was it just something that he'd made up after sustaining this head injury that he received? And could it have been that's caused him to have these thoughts and like go kind of a little bit crazy? Alternatively, did Lars Mittank possibly attempt to even go back to Germany via different transport and not go by plane? He thought that it would have been either safer to hitchhike himself a ride or something. I mean, it is possible to drive from Bulgaria to Germany and it'd take you a full day, but then again, like obviously like the hitchhiking, he thought that it was an easier way. After arriving at the airport and getting off the phone with his mum, he actually found the airport doctor, and this airport doctor described him as being emotionally depleted. And during his examination, the examination was like disrupted by an airport employee who wanted to chat to the doctor about doing some work in her office or something. So it was kind of like interrupted at this stage. And this kind of set Mittank off by thinking, oh God, has she been sent in by these men to kind of disrupt it, to find out information about him? And this literally set him off. And he started shouting like, I don't want to die here, I don't want to die here, and got up and literally just ran out of the airport, leaving his bags, and he just got up and ran. He left behind his wallet, his phone and his passport, and I'll show you the clip of him running out of the airport here. When interviewed, the airport doctor actually said that Mittank was quite anxious and really like in a paranoid state. You could tell that he was agitated because he was fidgeting and kind of not really concentrating as much. But Mittank had literally no other prior mental illness that had been diagnosed or anything. None of his friends or his family knew anything about that, as he always was. But then this has obviously changed him. Eventually, after running out of the airport, as you can see in the clip, and then running down the street, climbing over a fence or whatever, that he ran and climbed over, and after that, like, nobody has ever seen him again. And this fence was like fully covered in barbed wire at the top, and this didn't prevent him. He wanted to get over or out and go wherever. It was later discovered that a truck driver had actually claimed to have given Mittank a hitchhiking ride around April of 2015, the year later. But this sighting was never fully confirmed as the real Lars Mittank. It was kind of just word of mouth sort of thing. But yeah, this is a really weird case, and I was going to go over some of the theories that people have found, but I feel like they should have the credit for that because they've obviously come up with it. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you can have a read of that yourself. And please, if you have any theories yourself about what happened after watching the videos, and maybe you have done your own research, please do leave them in the comments down below, because I will be reading them all and I'll be interacting with you and everything, because I would like to see what you guys think about it. So it'll be good to see your perspective on things. Thank you so much for watching, and I do apologise for leaving it so long, for not making a video, but yeah, just know that I'm back, and also leave any video ideas that you'd like me to do down in the comments as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week for another video. Bye.